Hello friends, let's continue learning and exploring Ansible with Dev Linux. Dev Linux is my YouTube channel. Oh, I should say it is your channel because you are using it, you are promoting it. It is you guys only. See, so far I have shared with you contents that form a foundation for learning. We know how to set up or install Ansible. We know how to do that SSH keys things and how Ansible ad hoc command we can use, how we can check Ansible playbook for any errors if we have introduced any typos or incorrect keyword there, right? And also how we can get help if we need online as well as offline. And then the default task, which is gathering facts, how we can make best use of it and how we can manually perform that gathering facts thing when we use the ad hoc command, Ansible command. So these are things which are very foundational in nature and we are not done yet. I mean, with respect to building the foundation, there are many things. So we'll explore as we uh, keep keep exploring, keep moving on further. So let's run the Ansible command and check the version. We know how to do that, right? Probably I have already introduced you that command, but I have some intention here now. My intention is notice this thing config file. The default directory is this etc ansible, as you can see. And one more thing, the version is 2.9.27, so I have upgraded it. That's why the new configuration file has been named as .rpm new at the end. So it has not overwritten my original configuration file because it has no knowledge if I have made any changes to it or I still want to use the old configuration file. Okay, so that's a good thing about upgrading a package from older version to newer version and your old configurations are preserved. Now, another point is from where your Ansible executable program is coming. You can type which Ansible. So this is a system command. You can type which Vim. Your editor is coming from there or that path. Okay. Now I go into my Ansible directory where I have my samples, examples there. Now I run the same command here, version, and it still shows the default configuration file there. But if I am using a local configuration file, what I mean is I may create different folders, directories for exercise purpose or learning purpose and customize Ansible configuration file according to my requirements or experiments. So I have not done any such thing here, but if I want to, I can do that. So what I can do is just copy that file in my current directory. Now I run the version thing again. This time you can see it is pointing to my local directory, my current directory where I have my own configuration file in there. So in your project, in your organization or development area, pay attention to this line because you might keep wondering, hey, I did not enable or disable a particular configurable parameter in this file, but why it is taking that effect or not taking that effect. So this can tell you because here we see a few items are present in the current directory, but there can be hundreds of them, right? Now, as we have just copied this file in here, Let's see what you want to do. First thing is I want to check this check out this cow thing. 0 is set, no cows. Don't use any cows. Setting 0 means false. That means do it. Okay, cow selection randomly and from this list. What is that cow thing is? It is not directly related to Ansible, but the thing is, whenever we are doing, running playbooks, and for each task, it will pick a random character, some cartoon, you can say. But that has no effect on our production or development. But as you can see, there are several items here, parameters that are commented out. So you can uncomment them to enable them or make them effective. And you don't have to restart any service to make the changes effective. Roles paths. Let me tell you that by default this directory, as we have seen, there is this directory under that roles. If we have roles specified somewhere else, then we can specify those directories or paths as well. Now, one more important thing is log, where I want to keep the logs. So currently, see, by default, Ansible does not log the output in any file. Of course, under slash where slash log directory, there are several logs, right? But by default, for Ansible logs are not getting generated. So you can uncomment this line from here and specify what paths or what directory you want to use. So I'm going with the default slash where slash log because it's a common sense thing, because by experience you will just go and check that directory only slash where slash log for any logs, so it is better to keep it there. Now wq's write and quit, that means save and quit out of the editor. So hyphen ltr means show me the latest file at the bottom. So this file we have updated and our changes are there. See, if you want to see what parameters are effective or not, comment it out. Let me show you this thing by example. Okay, as you can see, these lines are commented out, right? However, this one is not. That is because it says it sets a header there, right? Now let me head gives you the top 10 lines, so I'm asking you to show top 20 lines, right? All these are commented out. So default inventory file, if you want to specify somewhere else, you can specify by using that parameter. Okay, so here is my original default inventory file. The file name is hosts, but I am using my customized inventory file in here, and actually I have pointed it to the same file, so that would not be a problem. But if I want to keep another file, I can mention in the configuration file that use this inventory file. Otherwise, we'll have to specify -i to point to the inventory file. For example, my file or my inventory or host file, whatever name. Okay, Control C. Now that we have, okay, sorry. I was telling you how we can show only uncommented lines from that file, right? From this file. So use grep command on Linux system. Tell it that show me any lines that begins with caret. That caret symbol means begin with. Begin with the hash symbol, symbol and the file name. But of course, we don't want to see comments only, right? If we do that, it will show us only the comments. So just to do the opposite, we will use -v. That it means invert selection. Okay, so any line that begins with the hash symbol, don't show it. You see? Of course, there are several blank lines are present there, right? In between the different sections and blocks of text, etc. Some sections are just having no parameter defined. Most of them are commented out. This cow thing we just uncommented. Okay, and of course we did change this thing also, so it is also coming. Now another question not related to Ansible, but of course related to our Linux environment. I don't want to see those blank lines. What we can do? Just use this command sort. Okay, it will sort. So blank lines have been put together, so we are left with these lines now. Okay, is there anything up there? All blank lines. Okay, now hyphen u means unique. So now blank lines are also gone, only one blank line is present there. So under accelerate, there is no item we have enabled. Under colors, there are some items. Under defaults, div, as you can see, right? Inventory for inventory related, etc. Now, these are the only items, sorry, headers and by default in the configuration file, and some items, one, two, for example, these items are uncommented. So you can figure out that if you have enabled something or not enabled it very easily. One more thing is you just use grep, probably hyphen I, to ignore the case and see if there is anything called, let's say, SSH, where in this file. So you see several lines under SSH connection header. So these parameters are not enabled. You can enable them if you want to. So this is again a foundational thing with respect to the Ansible configuration, and we have just made only a small change in the configuration file. So let's see if we get logs now. So before that, let's create one um, playbook. Let's give it some name. For example, show me top processes. For example, triple dashes, one dash, name of the play. So name of the play is top 10 processes with high CPU or RAM utilization, whatever you like. Now, what all hosts under that play we want to cover? For example, localhost only, tasks. So under task, our first task is run ps command. Okay, let's run it. We can use shell module or command module. Let's run ps aux. With the shell module, we can use piping and input output redirections. So give it to sort command. We just use that numerical sort in the reverse order, and the key is on the fourth column. That means on if the fourth column is for RAM memory utilization, the third is for CPU utilization. Okay, we can check it by running that command on the system. Now with the head we'll get the top 10 lines. Okay, now because the output will not be shown on the screen, so we can capture that output now. So before printing it, we need to capture it. So how we capture it? Register. Let's say ps underscore output. Now name of the next task is show the output from the previous task or command. Debug, we have used it. Message, we can specify a custom message also, such as top 10 processes with high memory utilization or RAM utilization. And the name of the variable is this. Triple dots, marking the end of the play book. Okay, now let's save it. The first thing we should always do after writing a piece of code is check for errors or typos. So syntax check. In the last video also probably I showed you this thing. Let's see. Okay, we got an okay there. We can always cross verify like this also. Dollar question mark zero means okay, no errors. And one more thing, that we have enabled that cow thing in there. So let's see what happens with that effect also. Our that is not related to Ansible itself, or development or production environment. It is just a output thing. How you see the output with different sketches or characters in there. So this is the cow thing. So this cow is happy or angry maybe. Now, okay, we have completed all the tasks successfully. Yes, last operation was successful. Now see, play. That is the name of the playbook, right? As you can see, or the play inside that playbook. Looks nice. Now we have one cow character there. Because of that cow thing we have enabled cow setting. Task gathering facts, as you know, the default task, and task run ps command. It did changed, we got there, that means command was executed, and now we have the output from the previous command or task. So message, we used that um, keyword there, and top 10 processes with high RAM utilization, that is our customized message. And then we have the result from the variable that we used, right? That ps underscore output, and this entire result has been shown here, like std error lines, nothing, change true, etc., etc. So some debug related information is also placed before uh, we can actually see the output from the ps command. So what we can do is we can look for some item which just says std out or here. So std out is containing the actual output from the ps command, as you can see. So in our file playbook, we can here go and end this thing. Dot std out only I want to see, not everything that has been captured in that variable. Let's run it, but this time I want to do one more thing. Gather facts. No, because it takes some extra time and we don't have any use as of now of those facts. So let's see. Okay, went pretty much quickly this time. So you see now whatever std out was containing, we have just printed out that thing only, which was the standard output, that the result that we were expecting. So ps aux, if you type in there and head, so you see at the top, this is the header. So first, second, third, fourth line is memory, third is CPU. That's why I used sorting on the fourth line. For memory, for CPU, you can use the third line. Okay, like this, sort hyphen nrk 3, like that. So you don't want this head thing first there. Now head. Of course, headers you can remove, but that is about the Linux thing, right? Okay, I can show you how you can just get rid of that reader header thing also. Even before performing the sort, right here you can say grep hyphen v. Don't show me this thing. What is that thing? This line. So capital user you can mention, for example. Okay, so this is based on the third column, which is CPU. This is not running any heavy task here, right? So we don't see any significant CPU utilization or memory utilization, right? But anyways, our intention was to capture data about our system, whatever the data we wanted to capture. It looks nice, right? So no carve, you can set it to 1 to disable it, but I like it, so I am keeping it for the time being. It's funny, huh? We don't have to be too much serious about everything, right? Cows are funny things. So, guys, uh, just to summarize that we have now covered another important thing is how we can uh, modify our Ansible configuration file. We can have a local configuration file. So whenever you run this Ansible version command, it will point to that only if it is in your current directory where your playbooks are, and accordingly it will the parameters present in there will be effective or not so effective, or not effective I should say. So make use of that file, try to figure out other aspects, and talking about inventory, I think I have already shown you. What I have done here is created a symbolic link to this file. So whenever I want to add any item, I can just, it is easy for me to say inventory right here rather than typing the entire path. So it is anyways going in there. So that is the default inventory file with the items present there. Of course, you can just start from scratch. So you can say cat greater than my hosts or my inventory, whatever you like, right? So let's say my hosts. Give some header if you like, such as my web hosts. Specify some item, for example, localhost is my web host. Any other group you want, for example, database hosts. Specify some host name, for example, DB host. Okay, IP or host name you can use there, like that. So if I want to check what all hosts are present in my inventory file, let's see what happens. Too few arguments. Yes, too few arguments because I forgot I can say all or some group name. So all, what all items are present. Right. Now you may wonder that we did not have those entries, especially these two IPs, right? Then why they are still in there? The reason is we have not told Ansible that I'm referring to this inventory file. In my configuration file, I have pointed it. I have I have specified that use this one only, the default one. So in the configuration file, we go in there, right? And we say inventory, it is up there, right? So uncomment it and change the value. Okay, you can specify this or you can specify a path, but it is residing in the current directory, so I'm okay with that. Now let's run this command and see if it is picking up the correct inventory file this time. We got it. Good. Happy now? So next time you run a playbook, you don't have to specify the inventory file if it is already present in your current directory and you have specified so in your configuration file also. Of course, as we just noticed in the configuration file that many of those parameters we can include in our playbook also. So in our playbook also we can say, hey, look for the inventory file in here. How we can do that? We'll explore it. In next video, we'll explore how to use some of the or many of those configurable items in our playbooks. Okay, bye, tata, good night.